Jak 2 is without a doubt a timeless masterpiece. Its unique blend of platforming and open-world elements remains fresh even to this day. It's also one of the hardest damn games I've played in my life. And it was one of the first games I ever played too. Could you imagine starting your gaming journey with Jak 2 of all games? That's like putting a baby up against a hydrogen bomb. And so the game kicked my ass again and again, with me crying all the way to my mommy. But mommy was too busy working, and daddy was too busy drinking, so I was left all alone to brave the onslaught. Personal demons aside, what is it that makes Jak 2 such a challenging experience? Well, it's a combination of factors really. Although Jak's controls are fluid, precise and intuitive, they are wasted on the game's open world. And that's because we're driving for the majority of the game, and the driving hasn't aged that well, I'm afraid. It's way too floaty, and the city streets are too tight, so we're constantly bumping into crimson guards and crashing into walls. But it's not just the driving, there are so many different gameplay elements we need to master that it can be overwhelming. At least there is some nice variety, and most of the game's missions are pure platforming goodness, none of that Jak-free minigame crap, although Jak 2 also has its fair share of button mashing nonsense. Since Jak 2 is a platformer at heart, you'd expect those missions to be fun and straightforward, right? Well, get ready for a rude awakening, because Jak 2 will test your skills and patience to the limit. The limit of your wallet, that is, because you'll be buying and breaking controllers left and right. Oh man, where to even begin with this shit? Our health is way too low, and the shooting mechanics aren't the best, while every level is filled to the brim with enemies who are mostly hit scanners. And if you die, the worst thing imaginable happens. We have to start the mission from the beginning, because the checkpoints here are as rare as me getting a match on Tinder, or Hinge, or even the local high school. Anyway, nowadays Jak 2 isn't that hard, and if we're actually careful, we can finish most missions with our sanity intact, although there are some that even today make me explode in raids. You know the ones I'm talking about. Everyone and their mother has made a video complaining about their unforgiving difficulty, but many other missions are just as tricky for different reasons. Take the blow-up ammo at Fortress mission for example. It has some standard platforming and fighting, sure, but that first part where the tank chases us and the camera is all out of whack? That's a nightmare and a half, and it's like the 5th mission of the game. I hate chasing sequences, man. They are so anxiety-inducing, and they never ever get the camera right. It sucks.
This place has too much excitement. We need to move back to the country.
And if you thought that was bad, 2 missions later, you get to do an escort quest, everyone's favorite. We have to follow Sig here and protect him while he hunts down a bunch of enemies. But even though he looks badass in cutscenes, in-game he's trash. He barely fights any enemies, letting us do all the work, his weapon takes ages to charge, and at some point it even breaks down, making us fend off the hordes of enemies all on our own. What a doofus, and he's supposed to be the tough motherfucker you don't wanna mess with. But thankfully after that, the game shows some mercy, and the next missions aren't that bad. Just a little bit of driving, platforming and shooting, and we get a small taste of a jetboarding mechanic as well, because this game didn't have enough side activities already shoved in. It's fine though, nothing we can't handle with a bit of patience and gamer skills. But then we have to go to the mountain temple to retrieve a bunch of artifacts, and we have to deal with that part. You know the one. The Boulder Extravaganza, Brazzers Edition. I'm honestly surprised they only deal 1 point of damage, but still, look at this shit. We're getting bombarded with boulders with almost no rhyme or reason, while still having to platform our way up the mountain. When I was a kid trying to get past this, my controller was flying all over the place like the boulders here. And then there's the pattern, and he's actually not that bad? Don't get me wrong, I got my shit kicked in the first time, but if you follow the patterns and know what you're doing, it's pretty easy.
The dark powers I gave you can't protect you forever! Since I made you, I can destroy you. We'll meet again soon!
Yeah, whatever. Bye-bye.
But that was just the first act, an extended tutorial so to speak. In the second act, the training wheels are off, and the game desperately wants to drive us off a cliff. It doesn't look that bad at first, just your typical driving, shooting and platforming missions, rescuing people and killing monsters, all while trying to evade the dreaded laser-accurate Crimson Guards. A lot of people hate the destroy the equipment at dig mission, but I find it relaxing. All the Crimson Guards use grenade launchers, so they can't really hit us while we're zooming by on our jetboard breaking all the cables. Overall, a fun mission. But the next two missions are nightmare fuel. First up, we have to blow up a bunch of eco-wells at the strip mine. Sounds easy enough, just hop on our jetboard and do it, right? Well, it's not that simple. For starters, we have a 2-minute time limit, which is extremely tight, unless we've perfectly memorized the correct route to blow up all the wells, which is gonna take a lot of trial and error for that to happen. Secondly, and most importantly, maneuvering with a jetboard in this level sucks ass. Nailing the jumps to drop the bomb inside the well is finicky as hell, which is not ideal when we have to get them on our first try because of a time limit, and then they make us platform while on the jetboard too. Not to mention the eco-wells are scattered all over the place, so we have to try again and again just to find them all and then plot the correct route to blow them all up in time. On repeat playthroughs, it's not that bad, sure, but the psychological damage has already been done. And then there's the Destroy Ship at Drill Platform mission. And you're probably wondering why this mission is so bad. It's just a long-ass turret section. We've already dealt with those before. Indeed, on a casual playthrough, this mission is nothing special. But there's also Hero Mode. Hero Mode is Jak 2's new game plus, with all weapons unlocked from the start and the ability to use cheats, but every enemy has double health and some even deal double damage. While most missions in Hero Mode are a cakewalk because we have all our weapons and good cheats enabled, none of that matters in this mission. That's because we're on a turret, so no fancy weapons or cheats for us, but all the enemies have double the health and double the aggressiveness. The first part, where we have to kill 40 Crimson Guards to progress, is the toughest challenge I've ever faced in a game, and I'm not even kidding. The guards fly all over the place, bounce around when they get hit, and shoot us down just as relentlessly as they keep spawning. Meanwhile, the turret controls like shit and it overheats too, just as an extra middle finger from Naughty Dog. I managed to beat this mission once in Hero Mode after many tries, and I don't want to do it ever again in my life. Man, that was insane. Why don't we cool off with some racing? Yeah, Jak 2 has high-speed racing as well, and with the way the vehicles handle, you can guess how well that minigame has aged. And of course, it's not just that we have to control a super fast, super floaty vehicle with crazy precision to avoid crashing and dying on the first obstacle, there's also rubber banding, everyone's fucking favorite. Stay in first place for too long and you'll see every racer zooming past you in speeds you cannot even comprehend, boosting constantly like there's no tomorrow. Too bad, better replay those 5 laps again. It's like Naughty Dog saw the crash-free races and thought, man, those were great, how can we make them even more annoying though? Voila! But still, they are tolerable if we practice and use the shortcuts as much as we can. If only every race was like that, I could handle it without going insane. But we'll get to that when the time comes. And so we moved to Mars Tomb, the final part of Act 2.
Uh-oh! I think Red Trooper's approaching!
Oh, you really thought I'd forget that mission? Yep, it's time to talk about the Get Seal piece at Water Slums mission. And there is only one way to describe this one.
Cock and ball torture. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia at en.wikipedia.org.
Good lord, this mission is an absolute shitload of fuck. Crimson Guards are everywhere, shooting you with Robocop-like accuracy. If you fall in the water, you die instantly, and the slums in general are very cramped to navigate and dodge enemy fire. Absolute insanity. But still, even though this mission gave me a goddamn coronary when I was a kid, I don't think this is the hardest in the game like many others do. If we keep running and gunning without ever stopping, we'll make it through every time. Plus, we can seize the mission by destroying the water sentry with Dark Jack's bomb ability. Now we can finally move to Mars Tomb, which is surprisingly not that bad, given the fact it's the Act 2 finale. The tests of manhood are just the right amount of difficult, and even the Baron rematch fight feels more like a Zelda boss than a menacing hardcore challenge. It's almost like the game took pity on us or something.
Nice try, but the stone is still mine. Don't worry, I will use the stone to its full potential. Soon all who oppose me will be destroyed by its power.
But enough fucking around, it's time for Jak 2's final act, with the hardest, most bullshit missions you can imagine. Actually, you don't have to imagine, because right off the bat, we have to escort these bozos here through the city sewers, which of course have about 1 trillion enemies crawling inside.
Ah! The ceiling's crawling!
Jack! Metalheads everywhere!
It's a trap!
And as expected, they are absolutely useless at fighting or even defending themselves. But that's not even the best part about this clusterfuck of a mission. Can you guess what happens if you die? That's right, you're gonna have to start from the beginning, no matter how far into the mission you are. It's crazy because there are so many organic opportunities for a checkpoint or two here. But no, if you wanna pass this mission, you need to be a gaming god. Anything less than that and it's over. But even though I hate this mission with a fiery passion, the next one is without a doubt my least favorite in the entire franchise. It's time to beat Errol, a hotshot racer and a royal pain in the ass in a race challenge through the city streets. There are so many things wrong with this mission, I don't know where to begin. Our vehicle is way too slippery to control, and combined with the incredibly tight corners and cramped streets, driving in this race is a miserable experience. Not to mention that the streets are full of civilians and guards who sometimes, if you bump into them, will make us slow down and pretty much lose the race because it demands complete and utter perfection. Errol always drives at full speed and never makes any mistakes, but even if he does and falls behind, the lovely rubber banding will give him the unfair advantage he so desperately needs to piss us off. Oh, and also, there are a bunch of rings throughout the city that act as a racetrack. Miss even one of them and you lose the race automatically. Errol of course isn't bound by this rule, he can do pretty much whatever the fuck he wants, because this mission was designed to test our skills to their absolute limit. There is a 1-hour video on YouTube where some guy tries to beat this mission, screaming and cursing all the way through. Granted, it's the optional challenge mode version of this mission, but still, it's an incredibly frustrating race. I hate it, and you know what? I hate races in platforming games, period. I'm a racist through and through.
Don't get too cocky, outlaw. Next time we race for keeps, and your head will be my trophy!
Blow it out your ear! You were bottle-fed, weren't you?
Thankfully, the next few missions aren't nearly as bad. Sure, there are a few ballbusters here and there, where we have to deal with hordes of Crimson Guards hit-scanning us into oblivion, but nothing a few rolls and spin-shooting tricks can solve. The final difficult mission in Jak 2 isn't the last one. Even the final boss, although very challenging and overwhelming at times, can be dealt with if we pay attention to both his attacks and his minions while constantly moving and shooting as the Jak 2 mantra dictates. No, the last middle finger this game has in store for us is the mission where we have to find Sig in the underport and escort his useless ass into safety again. Once more, it's a combination of the game's worst mechanics that makes this mission so frustrating. You start the nightmare underwater, wearing a mech suit that is incredibly slow and clunky. The underport is filled to the brim with mines and enemies that can easily destroy us in a few hits. And of course, they have huge hitboxes as well, which is great when you're a large, slow hunk of junk trying to navigate through this hellhole. Oh, there's also an oxygen meter for extra anxiety. But even if by some divine intervention we manage to escape from the underwater ruins, we still have to escort Sig to the surface. That includes many great mechanics, such as solving puzzles while Sig gets manhandled by all the enemies, and long-ass chase sequences with tricky platforming and a horrible camera. As you probably expect, the slightest mistake will kill you instantly, and there are no checkpoints whatsoever.
I say it's time we take this fight to the metalhead leader himself. What a trophy he'll make.
We find a way to juice up Mars' old gun, and then boom, baby! We storm the nest, guns blazing. Hell, we'll take them all on together. You and me, side by side. Nothing'll stop us, cause we're... Shit!
So, what's plan B?
Finishing Jak 2 is definitely a cathartic experience, almost like beating a Souls game. Of course, some of you would say I'm exaggerating, the game is easy if you know what you're doing, skill issue, and so on and so on. It's true, if we familiarize ourselves with the game's mechanics and pay close attention, we'll definitely have an easier time. But still, in my opinion, it's a punishing game that sometimes demands too much from you. Is it a bad game then? Absolutely not. It's a fantastic platformer with a great plot, amazing graphics and music, and a revolutionary blend of so many different game mechanics. Even though nowadays it's not as hard as people like to say, it remains a formidable challenge for fans of a genre. Try it out if you haven't, you're gonna have a fun time. Have some spare controllers at the ready too, you're gonna need them. And that's all I had to say about Jak 2. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stuff. You know how it goes. You can also support me on Patreon or become a channel member for early access to my videos and other perks. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun.